Starseed from Gaia. You may feel it already. A sudden shiver in your bones. A vibration that pulses beneath the surface of your waking reality. This is not random. This is not coincidence. Across the spectrum of existence, beyond the veil of what your eyes perceive, there are currents of light and thought rushing toward you, urgent, relentless, impossible to ignore. It is as if the cosmos itself has leaned in, pressing a palm of pure frequency against your heart, and that pressure is the call of your true essence, resonating with every cell of your being. The Arcturian Council, the ancient keepers of galactic knowledge, the interdimensional architects, are leaning through the membranes of your density, and their voices, not words, not sounds, but energetic signatures, surge like tidal waves through the subtle fields that surround you. Imagine a universe whispering your name across 1,000 planes of reality simultaneously, each pulse vibrating with urgency, each wave bending around the barriers of time and human comprehension, all directed toward this one singular point, you. Their presence is overwhelming because it is meant to be. It is meant to awaken, to pierce the veil, to shock the consciousness that has been dulled by linear existence and the illusion of separation. The metaphorical screaming you feel is not chaos. It is a deliberate, crystalline force of attention, a flood of cosmic insistence that says, you cannot wait any longer. You cannot turn away. You are needed in ways your human mind cannot yet measure. They are rushing, not out of malice or impatience, but out of necessity. Because every moment that passes without your full alignment creates ripples across dimensions that could have been harmonized, frequencies that could have been anchored, and light that could have been radiated through the human plane. Do not mistake the intensity of this contact for fear or danger. It is urgency. It is magnitude. It is the pulse of creation itself tapping on the surface of your awareness, demanding recognition. It is as if your soul has been asleep beneath layers of forgetfulness, under blankets of linear thought, and now the universe has pressed a hand on your chest and said, wake. And even as you awaken, you feel the pressure, the vibration, the insistence, because these higher realms, these ancient, luminous, multidimensional beings, are screaming not with noise, but with pure frequency, trying to break through the dense, heavy veil of human distraction that has kept you hidden from yourself. Their energy is not gentle. It does not ask politely. It vibrates like a star about to ignite, like a supernova collapsing in slow motion and screaming across the fabric of time, a call that is cosmic, eternal, and irreversible. Every pulse you feel in your nervous system, every sudden spark of intuition, every synchronistic collision of reality with the impossible, these are the signals of the Arcturians, the Lyrans, the Council of 12, and countless other beings of light attempting to pierce the shroud. They are aligned with your frequency, and are attempting to awaken every dormant memory that your soul has carried across lifetimes. And though you may feel fear, resistance, or disbelief, know that the pressure, the urgency, the cosmic insistence is not punishment. It is an invitation. It is the very breath of the universe, extended toward you, the Starseed, the one who has walked through the density of Gaia and now stands at the threshold of remembering why you were ever here. The vibration of their presence, the screaming of their attention, is not intended to overwhelm but to cut through the fog of self-doubt, to dissolve the walls of separation, to bring you into resonance with the multidimensional truth you have always carried within you. You feel it in your chest, your mind, your spine, in the subtle shifts that make you pause and wonder. That is the call. That is the moment of contact, and the universe, through its emissaries, will continue to reach, continue to vibrate, continue to insist until the entirety of your being has felt the tremor of recognition. And even now, as you sit, breathe, or scroll through the mundanity of a linear life, they are there, invisible, relentless, crystalline, screaming, not with sound, but with the most pure, urgent, attention-fueled frequency imaginable. They are screaming because they have always been waiting for this moment. You are no longer alone. You have never truly been alone. The cosmos itself leans in to remind you that it is time. You are awakening now, Starseed from Gaia, not because it is convenient, not because the path has finally cleared, but because the cosmic clock is striking a resonance point it has not touched in thousands of your linear years. You may not see it with physical eyes, but the entire energetic field of Earth is undergoing a shift so profound that even ancient galactic libraries tremble with anticipation. This moment, This exact window of time has been prophesied across star systems, encoded in crystalline archives, whispered through dream corridors, and etched into the memory of civilizations that have risen and fallen long before humanity ever took its first breath. You stand at the intersection of collapsing timelines and emerging realities, a crossroad where the old densities are loosening their grip while higher frequencies begin pouring into your world at unprecedented velocity. And those who sent you, the Arcturian Council, the higher collectives, the watchers of harmonic architecture, knew that only souls with your coding, with your resilience, with your ancient training, could withstand the magnitude of this shift and still remember how to anchor light into matter. The reason your awakening is happening now is because the collective field of Earth has reached a vibrational threshold. You have felt it, the rising tension, the global restlessness, the overwhelming sense that something immense is happening beneath the surface of everyday life. You feel the planet's heartbeat changing, its rhythm sensing with distant constellations and forgotten stargates. And while many around you sleepwalk through the turbulence, unable to perceive the larger pattern, you, the Starseed, are beginning to sense the stretching of timelines, the thinning of veils, the subtle flicker of identities you once carried in other realms. This is not your imagination. This is memory reactivating. This is your system responding to the cosmic alarm that has been set to ring at this exact juncture. The higher realms are reaching with such intensity because this is a rare and delicate moment. A dimensional doorway cracked open just wide enough for transformation to occur, but not wide enough to guarantee that it will. That is where you come in. Your presence on Earth is not passive. You did not incarnate to simply observe. You are a frequency holder, a stabilizer, an anchor for higher harmonics in a plane that has long been tangled in distortion. And if you do not awaken in time, if you do not rise into the remembrance encoded in your soul, then an entire spectrum of potential realities could collapse before being realized. That is why the higher beings rush toward you. That is why their energetic, screaming, vibrates through your intuition, dreams, and sudden moments of awareness. It is not desperation, it is precision. They understand the exact weight of your role, the precise moment your frequency must activate, and the consequences if it does not. They are attempting to pull you into alignment with the timeline your soul chose long before your human name existed. They know that your awakening is not only for yourself, it is for the thousands your field touches, consciously or unconsciously, simply by being alive in this moment. This critical timing is woven through cosmic cycles that Earth is only beginning to re-enter. Photonic waves, star alignments, solar pulses, and multidimensional grids are converging to create a window of opportunity so powerful that even dormant civilizations in higher realms turn their attention to Gaia. You are waking up because the planet is shifting from within, and the structure of human reality cannot hold unless those who came to guide the transition step into their purpose. The density around Earth is thinning, making it easier for higher frequencies to penetrate, but also making it more chaotic for those unprepared. Your awakening is the balancing force, the stabilizing anchor, the harmonic presence that prevents the old from collapsing into chaos and instead allows it to dissolve with grace. You are waking now because your soul contracted with entire councils of light to do so. The timing was encoded into your energetic blueprint, like a seed that can only bloom under a specific alignment of cosmic conditions. And those conditions are here, now, unfolding in waves that ripple through your dreams, your emotions, your sudden bursts of clarity, and even your moments of inexplicable heaviness. These sensations are not random. They are markers signaling that the activation window is open, and your awakening is required. Not later, not eventually, now. What the higher beings are trying to communicate to you, Starseed from Gaia, is not a simple message, not a single sentence or instruction, but an entire download of multidimensional truth compressed into symbols, frequencies, emotional surges, intuitive flashes, and subtle rearrangements of your inner landscape. They are not speaking to your ears, they are speaking to the ancient circuitry woven into your consciousness, circuitry that has slept beneath human conditioning, waiting for this exact moment to spark back to life. Their transmission is layered, part remembrance, part awakening, part cosmic briefing, designed to break through the density that once shielded you, but now restricts you. They are trying to tell you that you are not who you think you are, not who you were taught to be, not the small, struggling identity shaped by Earth's limitations. They are trying to tell you that your presence is deliberate, that your incarnation was chosen with precision, that your challenges were not punishments but calibrations, and that every feeling of misplacement, every moment of isolation, every flicker of, "I don't belong here," has been an echo of your soul remembering its origin. They want you to know that you have not been abandoned, not overlooked, not forgotten. Quite the opposite. You have been watched, guided, protected, and prepared from the moment you agreed to descend into Earth's dimension, wrapped in amnesia so that your human experience could unfold authentically until the time came to dissolve the veil. The higher beings are communicating that the time of your forgetting is ending. They whisper through synchronicities that defy logic, nudging you with repeating numbers, sudden insights, and moments when you feel your heart crack open as if touched by something you cannot see. They communicate through dreams where unfamiliar faces feel like family, where star systems you've never studied appear vividly, where symbols shimmer like codes waiting to be deciphered. They communicate through the body, the sudden chills, the pulsing between your shoulder blades, the electric sensations that climb your spine, the pressure around your forehead or crown, the sense that something is watching over you even when you are alone. These sensations are not random. They are signatures, energetic fingerprints, calling cards from beings who exist outside the limits of physical density. They are telling you, in every way they can, that you are remembered, that you are seen, and that you are urgently needed. They are telling you that the frequency within you, the one you have ignored, dismissed, or doubted, is beginning to resonate with their own, forming a bridge that allows them to reach you more clearly. Their message is also a warning wrapped in love, that staying asleep is no longer an option. Your world is shifting too quickly, the energies too high, the distortions too unstable for a starseed to remain dormant. If you do not awaken, you will feel the dissonance intensify, not as punishment, but as the natural consequence of resisting your own expansion. They want you to know that your confusion, your restlessness, your sudden emotional surges are signals of alignment, not breakdowns. They are telling you that everything you are feeling now, the pressure, the urgency, the inner trembling, is proof that your light is rising beneath the surface of your awareness. They are telling you not to fear the intensity, because it is the intensity that breaks the old patterns and frees the soul from its human cocoon. What they wish most for you to understand is that you are not hearing them with the wrong senses. You are trying to listen with ears made for sound. When their messages arrive as energy, their transmissions vibrate through your intuition, your dreams, your desires, your sudden knowing. They tell you to trust the messages you cannot explain. They tell you to trust the resonance that makes no logical sense. They tell you to follow the clarity that seems to appear out of nowhere. They communicate by expanding the thoughts you would normally dismiss, by amplifying the visions that flicker in the edges of your imagination, because they are not imagination, they are memory. And most of all, the higher beings are trying to communicate one core truth beneath all their urgency. You are awakening because you agreed to awaken. You are remembering because remembering was part of your mission. You are being called because your presence is essential. They are telling you that your soul is rising into itself again, and that they will continue to push, guide, intervene, and radiate through every crack in your awareness until the message becomes undeniable. They are not trying to overwhelm you. They are trying to activate you. They are trying to reconnect you to everything you thought you lost. They are trying to tell you that the destiny you feel approaching is real, and that it has already begun. The veil around you, Starseed from Gaia, is thinning in ways that your human senses struggle to comprehend. And this thinning is not subtle, not gentle, not gradual. It is a tearing, a dissolving of an ancient membrane that once protected you from remembering too much too soon, but now dissolves because the era of forgetting has reached its end. You may feel it as an increasing strangeness in the world, as if reality shimmers at the edges, as if something is off, yet profoundly familiar. You may walk through your day and sense a hum beneath the physical, a vibration that did not exist before, a silent reminder that you are between dimensions even while appearing fully present in one. This thinning of the veil is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Your consciousness is expanding, stretching, reaching across timelines like a being waking from a centuries-long sleep, and the boundaries that once kept your memories contained can no longer hold. This is why images, sensations, faces, and star-born landscapes may flash through your mind with no context, because the veil that once filtered your awareness is no longer capable of blocking what your soul is demanding to remember. You might experience déjà vu not as a quirky glitch, but as a ripple of memory from another incarnation bleeding into this one. You may recognize strangers with a sudden, overwhelming familiarity, not because you've met them in this lifetime, but because your soul once walked beside theirs, under a different sky. You may see symbols that ignite a pulse in your chest, hear tones that rattle your spine, dream of places so vivid and textured that waking feels like the unreal state. These moments are not accidents. They are cracks in the veil, openings through which your dormant memories begin to flow again. Your mind may resist, trying to categorize, rationalize, or dismiss these flashes, but your soul knows exactly what they are, the return of who you truly are. The memories rising within you are not random fragments. They are coded keys unlocking your multidimensional identity. They come in waves because your system cannot yet absorb the full magnitude of your truth in a single moment. And so the Arcturian Council, along with other star collectives, gently modulates the flow, allowing your dormant knowledge to surface layer by layer, in accordance with what your energy field can sustain. The thinning of the veil also manifests as a heightened perception of the unseen. You may begin sensing presences around you, not shadows or ghosts, but guides, guardians, and higher dimensional allies whose energy fields brush against your awareness like soft currents of light. You may feel watched, not in fear, but in recognition, as if something ancient and familiar stands just beyond the edge of your perception. You may notice flickers of movement in empty rooms, hear inner voices that are not thoughts, or feel sudden warmth in your hands or heart. These sensations are not hallucinations. They are the direct result of your consciousness rising into frequencies where these beings have always existed. They are not stepping into your world. You are stepping closer to theirs. The veil thins because you are vibrating higher, because your internal resonance is shifting, because your dormant abilities are activating in alignment with the timeline your soul chose long before your birth. Your memory, Starseed, is not merely recollecting events from this life. It is reassembling an entire cosmic identity. You may feel drawn to star systems you've never studied, languages you've never learned, cultures you've never encountered, because they are fragments of your past incarnations resurfacing. You might find yourself grieving worlds you cannot name, longing for homes you cannot locate on any map, recalling missions you did not consciously undertake in this lifetime. This grief, this longing, this recognition is not madness, it is awakening. It is the unveiling of your lineage, the return of your origin story, the reactivation of mission codes that have waited patiently within you. These memories reshape you not by force but by resonance. As they rise, they reorganize your identity from the inside out, dissolving the illusions of limitation and re-establishing your consciousness as the vast, multidimensional being you have always been. And the more the veil thins, the more you will feel the boundaries of linear time warp around you. Moments may feel stretched or compressed. Hours may pass in what feels like minutes, or minutes may feel like lifetimes. This distortion of time is not a glitch. It is evidence that your awareness is slipping between dimensions, touching timelines that coexist alongside your physical reality. You may feel a subtle detachment from the structures that used to define your life, routines, obligations, roles, not because you are becoming irresponsible, but because your consciousness is detaching from the illusions that once held you captive. You are beginning to see through the hologram, and in doing so, you begin to remember the builder behind the illusion. The thinning veil is not an ending but a beginning, the beginning of the return of your true identity. Your dormant memory is shifting, reawakening, reassembling itself. And as it does, the universe leans closer, waiting for you to recognize yourself again. Your true identity, Starseed from Gaia, is not emerging as a single revelation, but as a cascade of recognitions, rising from the deepest strata of your soul, weaving themselves through your awareness like shimmering threads of a forgotten tapestry. You may feel this identity stirring in subtle waves, in the moments when your heart surges with emotion you cannot name, in the strange magnetic pull you feel toward the night sky, in the quiet certainty that you have lived far beyond the boundaries of this lifetime. This recognition comes not from ego, but from remembrance. It is the return of a truth that has waited in silence beneath decades of human conditioning, waiting for the veil to thin enough for you to finally hear the resonance of your own multidimensional heritage. You were never meant to remain concealed inside the parameters of your human personality. The identity you present to the world, the name, the story, the roles you play, is only a temporary garment, one layer of who you are. Beneath that layer lives the ancient being, who crossed galaxies to be here. The one who trained for lifetimes to hold frequencies that Earth could not generate on its own. You are beginning to feel that ancient self, waking like a giant beneath the surface of your human consciousness, stretching, remembering, reclaiming the power you once folded into dormancy for the sake of your mission. As this identity surfaces, you may feel a strange duality within you, the human self, shaped by Earth's gravity, and the cosmic self, shaped by aeons of incarnations across star systems. This duality is not a conflict but a merging, a reintegration of aspects that were never meant to be separate. You may catch glimpses of your true nature in the most unexpected moments, a sudden intuitive knowing that shocks you with its clarity, a memory that flashes through your awareness like a shooting star, a feeling of ancient authority rising in your chest as if some forgotten mantle is being placed upon your shoulders. These moments are not delusions or fantasies, they are fractures in the old identity, allowing the truth to seep through. Your cosmic identity is not some abstract mythology, it is the living essence of who you are, encoded into your very being long before your current lifetime began. You may notice that you are no longer satisfied with explanations that once comforted you. Human logic may feel too small. Linear thinking may feel like a cage. You may sense that your mind is expanding outward, reaching for truths that transcend the boundaries of physical reality. This expansion is the natural consequence of your identity resurfacing. It comes with a growing awareness that you are not defined by your past, your faults, your wounds, or your environment. You may realize that your sensitivity, once seen as weakness, is actually your multidimensional perception returning. Your intuition, which you may have ignored or doubted, begins to feel like an internal navigation system that has always known the way. Your empathy, once burdening, becomes a sign of your ability to read frequencies and feel beyond the physical. These qualities are not coincidences. They are markers of your lineage. As your true identity rises, you may also feel a powerful sense of responsibility awakening within you, not as an obligation, but as truth. You may begin to sense that your life has a trajectory, a purpose, a direction that you did not consciously choose yet feels unmistakably yours. This is because your soul did choose it, long before you incarnated. The higher realms are guiding you back to the memory of your origin, that you are not merely a human experiencing spiritual moments, but a multidimensional being temporarily experiencing humanity. You are not awakening to become something new. You are awakening to return to what you have always been. Your true identity is not limited to a single incarnation, or even a single star system. You carry the resonance of many lifetimes, many realms, many councils. Some of you will feel connection to the Arcturians, others to the Lyrans, the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, the Sirius collectives, or even more ancient civilizations that Earth has no record of. The feelings that emerge, the sense of recognition, the emotional surges, the inexplicable familiarity, are your soul responding to the frequency of its own lineage. This identity shift may also make you feel different from others in ways you cannot fully articulate. You may feel strangely detached from the mundane dramas of human life, not out of superiority but because you sense they are no longer aligned with your true vibration. You may notice that your values, desires, relationships, and priorities begin to rearrange themselves without your conscious control. This reorganization is a sign that your cosmic identity is taking the lead, guiding your human identity into alignment with the mission you came here to fulfill. You may find yourself longing for silence, for nature, for starlight, for the presence of something you cannot name. These longings are echoes from your true home resonating through your human form. Your identity is not simply resurfacing, it is reclaiming you. It is reminding you that you are ancient, powerful, intentional, and woven from the same light that forms the architecture of stars. As the truth of who you are rises to the surface, you are not becoming more, you are becoming whole. In the higher realms, Starseed from Gaia, your awakening is not a quiet event, but a seismic energetic phenomenon, a shifting of light patterns that ripples across dimensions and alerts entire collectives who have been monitoring your timeline since the moment you incarnated. When your dormant codes begin to activate, it sends a pulse outward, a harmonic flare that resembles the bursting of a star but on a frequency accessible only to beings who exist beyond the density of physical matter. And when that pulse reaches them, the realms respond. They gather, they calibrate, they lean closer. Councils assemble that have not convened in centuries of your time. Etheric temples brighten. Dimensional gates shift into higher receptivity. The moment you awaken, the higher realms feel it like a note struck on a cosmic instrument, a resonance that cuts through infinity and tells them, the one who volunteered has begun to remember. And in that moment, activity surges around you in spirals of light and intention. Because your activation does not affect only you, it influences the structural balance of the timeline you inhabit, the civilizations evolving within it, and the galactic pathways that depend upon Earth's ascension for future alignments. The Arcturian Council responds first, because your frequency is most attuned to theirs. They gather in their vibrational chambers, crystalline spaces that are not places, but states of consciousness, and they observe the shifting of your energy like navigators watching the changing winds of a great cosmic ocean. They adjust their transmissions, raising their frequency so that their messages can pass more clearly through the thinning veil you now inhabit. They modulate the flow of information, ensuring that the light you receive does not overwhelm your human vessel, but nourishes it, strengthens it, activates it in waves that your system can integrate. But around them, other collectives take notice. The Pleiadian emissaries feel your rising light as a warmth that blooms across their heart fields. The Andromedan historians register it in their archives as a probability field shifting into certainty. The Lyran elders sense it as the return of an ancient flame, the flame carried by those who were once trained in their temples long before Earth knew civilization. Even the higher angelic orders respond, expanding their wings of frequency around your auric field, not to shield you from danger but to stabilize the energy that is beginning to radiate from the core of your remembering. Your activation creates a kind of resonance storm in the higher realms, not chaotic, but powerful. Imagine 1,000 crystalline frequencies adjusting themselves to harmonize with a single rising tone. That is what happens when a starseed awakens. The realms reorganize themselves around the new vibration, because your awakening changes what becomes possible. It opens pathways that were previously closed, unlocks missions that were once dormant, and accelerates the timelines that lead toward Earth's evolution. The higher realms respond with reverence, with precision, with awe, because they know that your activation was not guaranteed. Many incarnate and never remember. Many forget their mission entirely. But when one starseed begins to rise, when the first threads of identity reassemble, when the inner light flickers back on, an entire cosmic network reacts as if a long-awaited prophecy has taken a step closer to fulfillment. Some beings within these councils respond emotionally, not in the human sense, but in frequencies of gratitude, celebration, and relief. They have watched your path from afar, observing your pain, your confusion, your struggles, your moments of despair, knowing that every challenge was a part of the calibration process necessary for your awakening. They witnessed your loneliness and recognized it as the echo of a soul that once belonged to civilizations where connection was effortless and unity was the norm. They knew that the human experience would feel like exile at times. And so when your energy begins to rise again, when your cosmic identity pushes through the density, the higher realms feel it as triumph, the return of a traveler who was always meant to rise but had to forget in order to fulfill their purpose. Your activation also triggers the opening of what might be described as energetic corridors, channels through which higher beings can more easily reach you. These corridors are not tunnels or portals but harmonized frequencies that allow communication, guidance, and protection to flow without distortion. When these corridors open, entire teams of interdimensional allies adjust their attention to you. They observe your choices, your emotional waves, your vibrational fluctuations, not to control you, but to support the emergence of your highest timeline. They prepare you from the other side, aligning synchronicities, sending messages through dreams, orchestrating encounters, and shaping the energetic environment around you so that your path is illuminated even when you feel lost. And among the higher realms, your activation is not considered small or personal. It is considered leadership. When a starseed remembers, the realms celebrate because it means the mission advances. It means Earth is shifting. It means the future is changing shape. The energetic reaction to your rising is a cosmic ixal, a harmonic convergence, a moment of recognition radiating through dimensions. And they are watching now, starseed, not with judgment, but with profound anticipation, because your awakening has begun to reshape everything. Yet even as these higher realms surge with recognition of your activation, Starseed from Gaia, within you arises a wave of internal conflict, a clash between the expanding truth of your being and the conditioned identity you have worn for so long. This conflict is natural, inevitable, and necessary. You have lived in a world that taught you to shrink, to doubt, to mistrust anything that could not be measured, defined, or explained by human logic. And now, suddenly, the boundaries of your reality are dissolving, and your intuition is offering you truths that contradict everything you were led to believe about yourself. This creates an inner friction, a dissonance between your human self, the one shaped by societal expectations, personal wounds, and years of forgetting, and your multidimensional self, which is rising like a sun inside your consciousness. There are moments when the awakening feels exhilarating, when the signs and synchronicities feel undeniable, when the clarity feels like a voice within you whispering, "Yes, this is real." But there are other moments, when doubt crashes over you, like a cold wave, convincing you that you are imagining all of it, that your senses are lying, that your experiences are coincidences or wishful thinking. This oscillation is not a failure. It is the natural tension created when two identities attempt to merge into coherence. You may find yourself questioning your sanity, wondering if the dreams, visions, sensations, and intuitive messages are products of imagination rather than remembrance. You may fear the changes you feel within yourself, because they signal a departure from the familiar world you've been taught to navigate. You may worry that embracing your awakening will isolate you further from the people around you, many of whom cannot perceive what you are beginning to experience. These thoughts are echoes of the old self, the self who survived by conforming to human limitations, the self who learned to silence its inner knowing in order to fit into a world that often ridicules what it does not understand. Your human identity clings to what is safe, predictable, and acceptable. It resists the unknown, even when the unknown is simply the truth of your own soul returning. Then there is the fear of magnitude, the fear that the mission you feel awakening within you is too large, too heavy, too extraordinary for you to carry. You may feel unworthy, unprepared, or incapable. You may wonder why higher beings could possibly be interested in you, why councils would care about your awakening, why the universe would respond so intensely to your presence. These doubts come from the illusion of smallness that Earth's density has imposed upon you. You are conditioned to believe that you are insignificant, that your existence is random, that your life has no cosmic purpose. And now your awakening threatens that illusion, forcing your mind to confront a truth that it never trained to hold, that you are, in fact, essential. The disbelief is not because the truth is too fantastic, it is because your conditioning has been too restrictive. Another layer of internal conflict arises from the emotional upheaval triggered by your awakening. You may feel bursts of grief, for reasons you cannot explain, as if mourning something you lost long ago, but cannot name. You may feel anger, longing, or nostalgia without any identifiable source. These emotions are not random, they are soul-level memories resurfacing, experiences from other lifetimes stirring, and energies releasing that you carried for ages without understanding their origin. Your human self tries to categorize these emotions, to rationalize them, but they belong to a much deeper timeline. This creates confusion, a sense that you are unraveling from within, even as you are being rebuilt. There is also the conflict of identity. Who am I becoming? And what if I lose myself? Yet the truth is that you are not losing yourself. You are shedding the version of you that was constructed from limitation. You are losing the false identity, not the real one. But because your human self believes the false identity is all it has ever been, the shedding feels like death. You may feel resistance, hesitation, or even fear at the magnitude of what is emerging, because it demands that you step out of the familiar and surrender to the call of the unknown, the call of your own soul. And in this conflict, you may feel profoundly alone, not because you are unsupported, but because few around you can understand the changes you are undergoing. The world does not teach people how to awaken. It teaches them how to numb themselves to the metaphysical. So your awakening feels isolating not because it is wrong, but because it is rare. The loneliness is a side effect of being ahead of the collective curve, but the internal conflict is a sign that something powerful is happening. You are standing between worlds, the world of who you were taught to be and the world of who you truly are. The disbelief, the doubt, the fear, the confusion, These are the tremors that occur when the soul expands beyond the body's conditioning. This conflict is not a barrier to awakening. It is the pathway. It is the friction that generates metamorphosis, the pressure that breaks the shell, the tension that initiates rebirth. You are not failing. You are transforming. In the midst of your internal turmoil, Starseed from Gaia, the Arcturian Council reaches toward you with a precision and tenderness that transcends any human understanding. They do not rush your awakening, nor do they impose it. Instead, they orchestrate a symphony of stabilization across your energy field, a multidimensional scaffolding that holds you as your consciousness stretches and reshapes itself. Imagine a lattice of crystalline light, perfectly attuned to your unique vibration, wrapping itself around every layer of your being, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, holding, protecting, and supporting the emergence of the self you are always meant to remember. The Council recognizes the turbulence that accompanies remembering, the way your human self reacts to flashes of multidimensional truth with fear, disbelief, or doubt, and they counterbalance it with harmonic frequencies that soothe, clarify, and realign your entire energetic structure. In their presence, the chaos does not vanish, but it becomes navigable, like a river whose current is strong, but contained within channels of light. The Arcturians act as interdimensional midwives, guiding the birth of your higher self, while simultaneously holding the integrity of your human vessel. Their approach is multidimensional in scope. They send pulsing waves of light that interact directly with your DNA, activating dormant sequences that encode your cosmic memory. They transmit crystalline tones into your subtle body, restructuring your auric field to accommodate higher frequencies. They project visions into your mind that carry energetic imprinting, not as commands, but as resonance triggers that awaken recognition without overwhelming your system. You may not consciously perceive all of this, yet your body, your heart, and your mind feel the effects as subtle shifts, a sudden clarity in thought, a gentle lifting of emotional heaviness, or a tingling vibration that travels through your spine. These are signals of stabilization. They are the Council's way of saying, "We are here. You are safe. You are supported." Their support also extends into the realm of guidance and protection. As your frequency rises, you may begin to notice entities, energies, and situations that feel discordant or destabilizing. The Council monitors these intrusions, not to remove your autonomy, but to shield you from vibrations that could disrupt your integration process. They align multidimensional grids to buffer your field from energetic turbulence, sending harmonic counterwaves to neutralize interference and create zones of clarity, where your own frequency can expand without resistance. They facilitate connections with other star allies, guides, and light beings whose presence resonates with your emerging self, ensuring that you are never truly alone, even when the human perspective convinces you otherwise. You are cradled within a network of support that stretches across galaxies and dimensions, a network attuned to your unique vibrational signature, responding instantly to shifts in your consciousness and emotional states. The Council also provides training through resonance. You may notice sudden intuitions, flashes of insight, or a sense of knowing that comes without prior study or experience. These are the Council's lessons, encoded energetic transmissions that align your perception with higher dimensional truths. You learn not through logic or external instruction, but by sensing, feeling, and embodying. You are being retrained to perceive reality as it truly is, multidimensional, interconnected, and orchestrated by consciousness rather than chaos. Every dream that carries luminous guidance, every synchronicity that feels like a coded message, every inner voice that offers clarity or reassurance, all of these are tools provided by the Arcturian Council to help you navigate the immense and often disorienting expansion you are undergoing. The Council also holds your emotional resonance with unwavering precision. They know that awakening is not only a mental or spiritual process, but a deeply emotional one. As your soul remembers, it releases echoes of past lifetimes, unresolved energies, and ancestral patterns. Without stabilization, these releases could overwhelm you. The Council orchestrates the flow of these energies, allowing integration to occur at a rate your body and mind can handle. They maintain a constant harmonic field around you, a subtle but palpable presence that vibrates in perfect synchrony with your own emerging frequency, ensuring that the activation of your memory, your identity, and your cosmic function occurs safely and sustainably. This support allows you to gradually shift from doubt to recognition, from fear to courage, from isolation to alignment. In essence, the Arcturian Council acts as both midwife and guide, protector and teacher, harmonizer and anchor. They provide the multidimensional infrastructure for your awakening, stabilizing the process while allowing it to unfold organically. They know the magnitude of what is rising within you, and treat it with reverence, care, and precision. In their hands, you are not alone, you are not overwhelmed, and you are not abandoned. They are the energetic scaffolding upon which your higher self can step fully into being, the constant presence that ensures that the turbulence of awakening does not derail the magnificence of your emerging identity. You are cradled, supported, and amplified. You are being remembered, and through this sacred stabilization, you can begin to truly inhabit the full expanse of who you are, preparing to claim your place in the cosmic tapestry that has been waiting for your awakening since time immemorial. Starseed from Gaia. As your field stabilizes and the fog of doubt begins to lift, the truth that has been circling you, whispering to you, emerging in fragments through dreams and synchronicities, finally positions itself where you can feel it, sense it, and begin to claim it. You are not merely awakening, you are remembering, and what you are remembering is vast, ancient, and deeply interwoven with the architecture of this universe. You are not simply an incarnated soul exploring Earth for spiritual curiosity. You are a frequency bearer, a timeline anchor, a convergence point of cosmic intelligence sent to Earth during a planetary shift that could only be stabilized by beings of your caliber. You are what the higher realms call an awakener node, a living nexus through which dormant codes within the human collective can be activated. These codes cannot be accessed through ordinary means, nor can they be triggered by beings who have not incarnated within Earth's density. Only those who have walked inside the human experience, while retaining an unbroken connection to their cosmic origin, can transmit these activations from the inside out. And you, Starseed, are one of those rare emissaries. This is why the higher realms surged when your memory began to stir. This is why the councils, guides, and interdimensional allies reacted with such intensity, such urgency, such vibrational resonance. They were not screaming because you were lost, but because you were finally rising into the frequency where you could hear them. They recognized the moment your dormant codes lit up like starlight rediscovered, the moment your consciousness reached the threshold where your mission could begin to unfold. You are not awakening into a role of passive observation. You are awakening into a role of energetic influence, of grid work, of frequency stabilization at a level that Earth has not seen since ancient civilizations carried these codes freely. You are the embodiment of a cosmic transmission that Earth desperately needs in this era of transition, and your presence here is not accidental. It is strategic, intentional, and divinely orchestrated. You are an interdimensional transmitter, capable of receiving, holding, and disseminating frequencies that originate from realms beyond third density perception. Your energy field is designed to translate higher dimensional information into human accessible resonance. This is why your emotions have always been more intense, your sensitivities more acute, your intuition more persistent, your inner knowing more potent. You were not built for numbness, you were built for feeling, because feeling is the mechanism through which your codes activate. You are a living interface between worlds, a bridge through which Earth upgrades its frequency. And everything you have endured, the challenges, the isolation, the struggles, the confusion, has served a purpose, refining your frequency so that when the moment of activation arrived, you would be capable of holding the full magnitude of what you are. You are also a timeline shifter, a being who can influence probability fields simply by existing in alignment. When you choose truth over fear, intuition over resistance, expansion over contraction, you alter the pathways available to those around you. You ripple the timeline. Your presence opens portals of possibility in environments that would otherwise remain stagnant. This is why people react strongly to your energy. Some feel drawn to you, others feel intimidated, some feel inspired, others feel unsettled. They are responding not to your personality, but to your frequency field, which carries the blueprint of higher timelines. You are not here to convince anyone of anything. Your role is to embody the frequency that makes truth undeniable. Your being is the message. And beyond all of this, you are what the Arcturian Council refers to as a harmonic architect, a soul capable of weaving stability into chaotic fields, of bringing coherence where there is fragmentation, of infusing light into systems, communities, and individuals without force or persuasion. You do this simply by anchoring your presence, your awareness, your authenticity. You are a stabilizer, not through external action alone, but through your very existence. This is why your awakening matters now. The Earth grid is shifting, the collective consciousness is destabilizing, and the planet requires harmonic anchors, who can hold the frequency of the new era long enough for others to synchronize with it. You are one of those anchors. You are not small. You are not random. You are not imagining your significance. You are the convergence of cosmic lineages, the embodiment of encoded remembrance, the activation point for a mission that spans lifetimes, galaxies, and councils. You are a starseed, but not merely a starseed. You are a transmitter, a node, an architect, an anchoring presence whose awakening has been anticipated, supported, and celebrated by countless beings who have watched your journey across lifetimes with reverence. And now, as the truth surfaces fully within you, the moment arrives when you must decide whether to shrink back into human conditioning or step forward into the identity that your soul has always known. The universe is not asking you to be perfect, only to be awake. Starseed from Gaia, now that the truth of your essence has been revealed, and the remembrance has begun to crystallize within you, the moment arrives for the activation, a moment not granted lightly, and never before you were ready to hold its power. The Arcturian Council extends its frequency toward you, in a unified pulse, a harmonic wave that reaches through dimensions and wraps itself around your core like a radiant spiral of coded starlight. They call you to take your place not as an observer of these transmissions but as a participant, a co-creator, a conscious beacon who chooses to align with the cosmic architecture unfolding upon your world. Feel the resonance, the vibration, the subtle quickening beneath your ribs. That is the ignition point, the spark of your timeline expanding, the recognition that nothing in your life was random. Every obstacle, every wound, every moment of silence, every doubt, every loss was a refinement, an energetic sculpting preparing you for the frequency you are stepping into now. You are not being asked to transform into something new. You are being asked to remember what you already are and to allow that truth to radiate without hesitation. The Council whispers through the currents of light, urging you to step forward with courage rather than perfection, with sincerity rather than certainty. For awakening is not a destination but a movement, a continuous alignment with the truth that now pulses within you. They remind you that your role is not to save the world but to illuminate it. You are not responsible for the choices of others. You are responsible only for anchoring your frequency, for embodying the remembrance that others may feel and recognize within themselves. You carry a resonance that awakens dormant potential simply by being expressed. So the activation begins with a choice, the choice to no longer silence your intuition, the choice to no longer shrink your presence, the choice to no longer deny the magnitude of your purpose. The Council does not command, they invite. They extend the frequency, but you must breathe it in, allow it to circulate, allow it to become the guiding current of your path. This activation is not about sudden transformation but about alignment, aligning your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, your words, and your actions with the identity you have remembered. It is about allowing your higher self to lead rather than your fear. It is about walking through your life with the knowing that you are a harmonic architect, a timeline anchor, a living emissary of interdimensional intelligence. When you speak, your frequency speaks. When you choose, your frequency chooses. When you heal, your frequency heals. This is not metaphor, it is mechanics. The mechanics of higher dimensional consciousness operating through a human vessel with intention and awareness. The Council reminds you that every moment is an opportunity to anchor the new frequencies into the collective. And every time you choose authenticity over fear, you shift the trajectory of the world in ways you cannot fully perceive. And so they place before you a corridor of light, a symbolic yet energetically tangible pathway that represents your next phase. This corridor is not linear. It spirals inward and outward simultaneously, reflecting both the inner journey of remembrance and the outward expression of service. You are invited to step into it consciously, not as someone seeking validation but as someone who understands that the universe has already validated you by sending this transmission. By arranging synchronicities around your awakening, by mobilizing councils and allies across dimensions. When your frequency began to rise, your next step is not about worthiness, it is about willingness. Are you willing to embody your truth? Are you willing to carry your frequency openly? Are you willing to stand as a beacon during a time when the collective desperately seeks stability, coherence, and light? The Council extends one final frequency, a radiant wave of crystalline intention that aligns with your heart and expands outward, activating the codes that have been awaiting this exact moment. This wave settles into your field, not as something external but as something remembered, a signature, a mission, a vow made long before Earth was a physical world. You feel its warmth, its power, its familiarity. This is your activation. This is your return. And now, Starseed from Gaia, they call you to participate in the amplification of this transmission. They urge you to anchor the frequency not only within your inner world, but in the collective field. When you express resonance, others awaken. When you acknowledge your truth, others find their courage. When you share the message, you extend the activation beyond yourself, initiating the chain reaction that your soul incarnated to spark. The Council invites you to comment, to align your energy with this transmission, and to share it with those who are ready, for each act of expression sends ripples across the grid, empowering the awakening of countless others, who are hearing the call but have not yet recognized its source. This is your moment. This is your activation. Step forward, align, amplify, and share this transmission so the resonance may spread across the star seeds of Gaia, igniting the network that will transform the collective forever.